Headlines today has accessed a letter written by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to his Pakistani counterpart. This is in response to a letter written by Nawaz Sharif. In the letter, Narendra Modi wrote that he was hopeful that bilateral relations between Pakistan and India would be further improved, adding that he and his government were keen to work with Prime Minister Sharif. Modi wrote that it was an honor for him to have Nawaz Sharif attend his oath-taking ceremony. The Indian Prime Minister also condemned the Karachi airport attack and expressed his sorrow over the loss of innocent lives. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif had written to his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi expressing satisfaction over his recent meeting and said he was looking forward to working with him in harmony to resolve all unsettled matters. Let's get a word from our Strategic Affairs Editor Gaurav Sawant, who's joining us on the phone line. Gaurav, crucial details that you're getting to us of letters being exchanged between the two Prime Ministers. When was this letter written, and coming in the light of the fact that two LoC violations have been reported this morning, was that something also that the two sides are likely to take up?
As of now, from what sources in government are telling us, that it's a courtesy letter, it's a polite response to Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's June letter. Sources are saying Prime Minister Narendra Modi responded to that June 2 letter that Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif had written, and has responded by saying it was nice of him to have come. All the other aspects of the relationship, from what sources are telling headlines today, will be dealt with at the level of the two foreign secretaries who are in touch, who will stay in touch. Anything beyond that is not, as of now, is not yet in the public domain. Sources in the government telling us the two foreign secretaries and the currently established mechanisms will be the only route to take the relationship forward. There is no major initiative that is planned as of now.
Gaurav, thanks for that update. We're also being joined by Hamza Amir on the phone line. Hamza, it seems that in spite of the ceasefire violations this morning along the LoC, External Affairs Ministry secretaries of both sides are likely to go ahead with the meeting. This letter, in fact, being sent to Nawaz Sharif by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, sounding a conciliatory note.
Well, yes, see, what happened was that the line of control issue occurred today, but Nawaz Sharif was the first to write the letter to Narendra Modi, and Narendra Modi's response has also has come as a very positive move forward. But having said that, there are still issues at the line of control. That is a concern raised from both sides. There is also pending issues that have to be dealt with and talked over by the foreign secretaries. So what both the Prime Ministers are doing can be taken as an icebreaker to move things forward, and also as a goodwill gesture on both sides for Pakistan and India. The rest actually rests on the shoulder of foreign secretaries meeting, the schedule for meeting, where it will actually be held, and thirdly, what issues will be actually talked about, especially the line of control issue, because as soon as the letter talks have started in the media, the line of control violation has occurred, and Pakistan reports it to be Indian violation, India reports it to be Pakistan's violation. So I think the blame game is already there, and that is where we've come to a standstill. So this time around, the tangible steps need to be taken if we actually have to see any movement forward in dealing with the issues on paper between India and Pakistan.
Hamza, thanks so much for that update. Hamza Amir reporting from Islamabad. Our Strategic Affairs Gaurav Sawant also telling us that bilateral talks likely to continue. Meanwhile, Pakistan has provoked India not once but twice this morning. Major ceasefire violations being reported from Rajouri and Poonch. Firing from the Pakistani side began at 7:30 this morning. There was retaliatory fire from the Indian side after mortars were fired from the Pakistani side. Firing is also being reported from Balkot area of Poonch. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Umar Abdullah tweeted this morning saying, and I quote from that now, "Significant ceasefire violation in Rajouri and Poonch with reports of some shells having landed in civilian areas, some livestock loss." In a second tweet he said, "Is it just a coincidence that the Defence Minister is visiting Jammu and Kashmir for his first visit to review the security situation tomorrow?" The violation comes barely a fortnight after Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's India visit for Narendra Modi's swearing-in ceremony, where both sides held terror talks and promised to carry bilateral talks forward. Shuja Al-Haq is joining us live from Srinagar. Shuja, what's the situation like now? Has firing stopped?
Well, yes, Simi, that's what the officials are suggesting. But what we have learned from the ground is that, in both areas, Rajouri and Poonch, a very, very heavy firefight was on. We have learned that not only the small arms, but even mortars were used by Pakistani side. And of course, it was responded in the equal caliber from inside as well. Which clearly, gives a sense of the kind of escalation of tension between the two sides of line of control. Remember, this is not the first one-off incident or the first incident. In last one and a half months only, we've seen around 14 such incidents happening. And in last, around 150 such incidents that happened. So clearly, this is one of the very important and major issues that is concerning people living on both sides of line of control. And something coming at a time when Defence Minister is having his maiden visit after the formation of new government has a lot of significance. And what kind of signals and signs does it send between, in terms of the dialogue that is going on between the two sides is something that we'll have to wait and watch for.
Absolutely. Firing being reported this morning from both sides. Mortar shells also recovered from civilian areas. That's what the Chief Minister tweeted this morning. Shuja, thanks for that update. We'll continue tracking developments.